Welcome, great minds, to another fun and informative social studies lesson with Mrs. Turner-Whyte. Today is our second series, episode 2, and I'm so excited you are here because today we're going on a special journey to learn about Cuba's road to independence. We'll explore the brave people, important events, and amazing stories that helped Cuba become a free country. Great minds, are you ready? Let's go! Learning objectives. By the end of this episode, you will be able to 1. Identify key events that led to Cuba's fight for independence. 2. Name important Cuban heroes who helped Cuba become free. 3. Understand the role of European colonization and how it impacted Cuba. And 4. Explain the significance of Cuba's independence in the Caribbean history. Let me take you back, way back. The year is 1492. Christopher Columbus stepped on a large, beautiful island, green hills, sparkling blue waters, and fertile land as far as the eye can see. The land is Cuba. And by the year 1511, Spain had claimed this beautiful island, Cuba. In these early years, the Spaniards enslaved the native Taino people to work the gold mines in Cuba. But after most of them died from diseases and hard labor, Spain turned to a cruel new system, bringing on the island enslaved Africans to work on the cattle ranches, tobacco fields, and eventually sugar plantations. Great minds, by the 1800s, Cuba was the sugar king of the world, making plantation owners extremely rich. But the wealth was built on the suffering of enslaved people. Among the slaves, the idea of freedom was spreading, inspired by the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and Haiti's Great Rebellion. Cuba nationalists began to dream of independence. Now in 1868, a wealthy plantation owner named Carlos Manuel de Cespedes gathered the people he had enslaved and said, "You are free, and I ask you to fight for Cuba's freedom with me. Who will join me in this fight?" Great minds, this was the start of Cuba's first war in 1868. This war is known as the 10 Years' War. It was long, it was hard, and it was horrible. But Spain was too strong. In 1878, the war ended without victory. Still, great minds, the dream of freedom was still alive. Just a year later, in 1879, came the Second War, known as the Little War, that lasted 1 year. It was shorter, smaller, but proof that the Cubans refused to stay silent. Then came Jose Marti, poet, thinker, and the leader of the Cuban Revolutionary Party. Martin knew that Cuba's fight was greater than one can imagine. A fight for freedom is a fight worth the cause. And so he continued the fight. In 1895, Martin lit the fire for the Cuban War of Independence, the third and final war. Sadly, he was killed in battle that year, but his death did not stop the fight. Great minds, two great men now carried the torch. Massimo Gomez, the brave military strategist from the Dominican Republic, and Antonio Maceo, known as the Bronze Titan. Maceo was famous for his courage, surviving more than 20 battle wounds in his lifetime. Together, Gomez and Maceo led the guerrilla fighters against Spanish troops, burning sugar plantations to weaken Spain's wealth. They were outnumbered, but they fought with determination, and they also urged the United States to step in. The turning point. In 1898, the American battleship USS Maine exploded in Havana Harbor, killing over 250 soldiers. The cause was never proven, but the United States of America blamed Spain and declared war. By the end of that year, Spain was defeated. Cuba was finally free from Spanish rule, but now the United States was in control. Yes, independence at last. On May 20, 1902, Cuba officially became independent, but USA influence remained strong. Still, the Cuban flag flew over Havana, and that was a victory worth celebrating. Yes, independence at last. Many years after Cuba became independent, Fidel Castro became the country's leader, ruling from 1959 to 2008. He made many big changes in Cuba's government and its relationship with other countries. Today, the president of Cuba is Miguel Diaz-Canel, who became leader in 2018. This shows that Cuba's leadership has changed over time, but its history is still connected to the events you've learned about. Cuba's journey to independence, brief timeline. In 1492, Columbus arrives in Cuba. Spain rules over 400 years. In 1868, First War of Independence, the 10-Year War, begins. In 1895, Jose Marti launches Second Independence War. In 1898, Cuba begins independence from Spain with help from the USA. 1902, Cuba becomes officially independent but under US influence. 1953 to 1959, Cuban Revolution led by Fidel Castro. 1959, Castro takes power and begins a new era for Cuba. In 2018, Miguel Diaz-Canel became president. Quiz time! Great minds, you can pause the video and answer these questions, discuss with your peers or your teacher. We've come to the end of another session. If you'd like more lessons with Mrs. Turner-Whyte, like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you later!